The session today is part. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Because we have
Waalaikumsalam.
people logged in from 75 countries, so it's great to have you all here. We want to welcome you to the first edition of the eTourism Revolution Talks, an exchange hub to discuss the future of tourism, usually in a short format, composed by powerful talks from experts around the world. The session today is part of the Innovation Warrior series, where we talk about the power of technology in a post-pandemic era. So we bring top global innovators to give us their advice and guidance in how you can leverage technology and take your business to the next level. Welcome to this fantastic talk. But first, let me introduce myself. My name is Abdul Sacoor, and I run a tourism marketing coaching agency providing training for B2B professionals in the travel industry. We help you get marketing skills, digital negotiation skills, sales hacks, and much more to help you get measurable results for your business. And today, I'm very honored to have three experts in this show. Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Can you please, each one of you, take a minute to introduce yourselves, your name, what you do, and yes, where you are based now. Shama, please.
Okay, so my name is Shama Zehra. I'm the founder and CEO of WHTE. WHTE is a tech startup based in New York. We also are global, so we have people in 175 countries, and we reach about 6 million travelers monthly. It's basically WHTE is a platform to connect people who all love to travel. So think of it as like an intersection between Instagram and TripAdvisor. So people connect with each other, ask for advice, or even they make new friends.
That's a great app. I use it myself, and yes, I'm really looking forward to hear more about it. Effendi, please.
Okay, thank you, Abdul. My name is Effendi. I am the CEO of Blockwork Senia Berhad, a startup company from Malaysia. We are system integrator. Basically, we created a lot of solution for other business. Our client is another business. We are not directly to the end users, and basically our solution will be used by our clients to get more peoples for certain area of solution. For example, we created a solution for e-commerce. We created a solution on the robot data for management, data management for several agencies. And now we will have our own platform in terms of promoting, we call as a social enterprise for the business, especially for the startups in region in Malaysia and ASEAN. Because of the COVID pandemic, a lot of people want to do business and they want to digitalize their business, and we cater this kind of solution for the business people. And basically, I'm more on the blockchain architect, so I'm focusing more on the blockchain solution as my expertise. But started from last year, our business clients, they are focusing on industrial for revolution 4.0. And my background, I did my degree for blockchain in Frankfurt, Germany. That's all. Thank you.
Oh, that's very interesting. And I really look forward to hear about blockchain because this
Yes.
will benefit a lot. And today we're talking about, savings and cutting costs and cutting the middleman. So blockchain has come to improve, but we'll get into that. It will be very interesting.
We will discuss
Dr.
in
Mazlan,
detail.
please. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Abdul Sacoor. My name is Mazlan Abbas. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Fabric, or Faber IoT, call it. It's a startup based in Malaysia, and we focus very much on Internet of Things, providing an ecosystem for applications developers to build their IoT solutions. So we have presence of IoT developers around 100 over countries around the world, and about 3,000 of them. And we are building different verticals of application, which I will share with you later, that covers from tourism, healthcare, and also smart city. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really interesting because nowadays with all these issues of the pandemic, smart tourism makes more sense. But yeah, we'll get into that for sure. So Shama, tell me, WHTE is a huge app. I love it. do you think that nowadays people use Jetsy, for example, to get local information about a specific destination? Because, due to the pandemic, we get overwhelming flow of information in the news, but we really don't know what's going on in that destination. And because Jetsy, it has such a huge potential, to get all the info and tips from locals. Do you think it's easier to get the information from there, from a local himself?
Yeah. So, and one question for you is am I able to share my screen or no?
We were trying to get this more interactive. I'm not sure. I would have to see with the technical team. But you can just give us some highlights then I will check that
Okay,
afterwards.
great. Yeah, so anyway, so basically, as I explained earlier, Jetsy is an app where people can connect with each other and share information. So what we found is that we were getting a lot of authentic information directly from the people on the ground, especially during COVID, because there's a lot of news out there, but we don't know what news is fake, what is authentic news. So what we were trying to do is directly connect with the locals in different countries and get information through them. And one of the things that our users found very helpful is that when they were trying to find information about a destination, like you said, having somebody on the ground who can guide them and give them the local scoop was much better than just reading about it. And then you can really get to know what exactly is happening. Taking a little bit of a deep dive on Jetsy, what we specialize is in focusing on the millennial and the Gen Z audience. 90% of our audience is millennials and Gen Z. And if before we talk about Jetsy, it will be nice to take a little bit of a deep dive into what this millennial and Gen Z audience is, right? So
Yeah.
if we look at their habits, and they're a little bit of a different breed. So if we look at millennial was born in a different environment when their parents were. Their parents were very capitalist. It was all about making money, whereas millennial is more purpose driven. It's more about, for them, it's more about making an impact in the world than just making money. And they earn on an average about 20% less than their parents were earning. So they have a habit of saving, and they're more price conscious than their parents were. This is, I'm talking about millennial, not Gen Z. Gen Z is different. Gen Z likes to spend, and Gen Z is also purpose driven, but they would spend more when they would see value, right? So the other thing that we saw about millennial is that it's really hard to sell to millennial. They sell it to themselves. So they really focus on getting
Oh,
recommendations from each other versus seeing it from the ad. So if somebody is doing a marketing campaign, it would be great to do it through social media where people are recommending to each other versus showing them the ads. So that's where it comes to your point as well, that because most of our audience is millennials, they like connecting with other locals and getting the information versus just reading from the books.
yeah, definitely. Yeah. I mean, I think Gen Z is also very connected to the digital platforms, and it's also, I think, and because we're talking about connecting with travel brands, I think travel companies can use that in their own benefit as well, right? To connect with this kind of audience in your platform.
Yeah, absolutely. So, to your point, Gen Z was actually born in the age of social media and digital. So they are totally addicted to social media. If you look at TikTok, most of the audience of TikTok is Gen
Yeah,
Z. It's completely hit the roof in the last few years.
definitely.
And we saw that during the pandemic, that people are flocking to TikTok. A lot of people were just Gen Z was spending most of their time on social media. They're totally addicted to social media. They also are into deals. So Gen Z is actually the most adventurous out of the three, whether Gen Z, Gen Y, or Gen X. And they are not stopping. So they still want to travel during the pandemic. And what they're doing now mostly is they're doing road trips, they're going for camping, they're doing RV rentals. So they're not stopping. It's very, very hard to these people. And the other thing we notice about them is that as long as the cleanliness standards is met, they don't care. They're traveling. And even we noticed that millennials were traveling early on during the pandemic when there were a lot of deals when
Still want to
the
travel during
pandemic
the
hit.
pandemic.
So, and okay, I hear an echo. So the millennial was trying to get the deals, and they started traveling in the beginning, but then when the pandemic hit the roof, then they stopped. So they were then they were we don't see a lot of travel. But Gen Z, they're not doing a lot of plane travel, but they're doing more road trips.
Yeah, yeah, and I see that. I mean, you also in your platform, you have so many online events now which are promoting traditions and local events, summer camps, single events, canoeing. Do you think that tour operators, travel agencies could use this kind of events to attract Gen Z audiences and millennials as well?
Yeah, so as I said, 95% actually of our audience is Gen Z and millennials, and we reach about 6 million travelers monthly. So for us, yeah, absolutely. The tour operators or any travel businesses can partner with us. There are different ways to do events with us, to do events or marketing. We have multiple forms of marketing. People can do in-app advertising. We can post their brand inside our app and then promote all of that through our social media. We have very active social media on Facebook, Instagram. We just started TikTok as well. So that is another medium for getting the word out. Then we do other types of campaigns as well. So like you said, we can even arrange an event, a digital event or a Facebook event, where we can invite our audience and promote somebody's brand. Then there are other ways that we also have a very interesting way of doing buzz marketing. This means that, you may have heard of buzz marketing. That is the most effective way. It's more word of mouth marketing. So instead of putting an ad, you will see bunch of people going around the web and just chatting about your brand and talking about the brand. And it's more in line with what I said. You can't market to millennials, they market to themselves. So with that, it's more like people peer-to-peer recommendations they give. So if there is somebody who's providing real cool experiences and good value, then we could put together a buzz marketing campaign for them too. People can come and partner with us to post on our social media. We have very strong presence on Facebook, Instagram. So over there, they can also get the word out through that. So there are a bunch of different ways to partner with Jetsy to get the word out for your brand.
That's really, really cool. I mean, TikTok, kudos for that. It's the new platform, and today's generation platform. It's great that you are in there as well. And nowadays it's very difficult sometimes to get engagement from our Facebook page, our LinkedIn page. But on Jetsy, it's everything there. Everyone is sharing information all the time. And one of the great things I've enjoyed as well when using the app is that you can track someone by interest and location. So that's a really, really great feature. So if I want to get someone like 10 miles from here, I can find someone with same interest than me. So that's a really, really cool feature. Are there any other features in the pipeline?
So yes, actually, coming here, thanks for mentioning that about the features. So when somebody joins Jetsy, they identify themselves as a hiker or a beachgoer or a family traveler. So first thing they say is they talk about their interests. So when we are targeting a campaign for somebody, we can target specifically if it's for a beach destination, that can target specifically to people who love beach, and so forth. If it's mountains and hiking related, so it can be going to the hikers. So people can be targeted by their interest, by their location, and we can even do by age, by gender, by their interest, as I said earlier. We're also bringing different experiences. We're going to be partnering up with Airbnb and some other companies where people will be able
Oh,
to
that's cool.
experiences through our app. So there are a lot of different features also coming. We're also planning to add video. We don't have video right now, but we're planning to add that. And then we will be also making interest-based groups. So You will be able to come and, for example, the purpose of the app would be that you can pretty much land somewhere. Let's say you land in Malaysia. On the ground, you'll be able to see what type of people you can meet, what type of things they're recommending, and what type of experiences you can do.
That's really, really awesome. And because we are talking about technology in a constructive way, and also you mentioned, Shama, that as long as there is protocols of hygiene and sanitization, Gen Z, for example, they wouldn't mind to travel. So I would maybe focus a little bit to asking to Dr. Maslan. In that situation, that we are living right now, everyone wants to have peace of mind. So how do you think that travelers and tour operators can achieve that peace of mind when traveling somewhere?
Okay, thank you very much. Other than what Shama had mentioned just now about the groups, traveling and with their friends and all that, travelers are mainly concerned about three things. One, as you mentioned just now, is about cleanliness of places that they are going to go. It's more about not just killing the viruses, but I think maybe try to clean any remaining dirts and all that, especially when they stay in the hotels. And secondly, if you look at, if they want to have this peace of mind, they must ensure that the surroundings and the places that they go have a very good way of managing health. Having that temperature scan, making sure that social distancing is always there, especially in the hotels, restaurants, and all that. And thirdly, they are looking at more about safety, about crowded places, understanding where are the places of red zones, for example, hot zone or hot spot, where there are cases of COVID-19, positive COVID-19, there's certain clusters and all that. So in fact, like Malaysia, for example, comparing with other countries within our region, Malaysia still is a cautious country that would love to travel. Malaysians are. So the SOP is quite tight also. So we follow very much on the SOP. So if you look at the travelers, safe is something which they want, but they also want to have fun, have some fun, not to really attach to very tight schedule of the tour operators. And the tour operators themselves, I'm sure they want to make sure that all their customers are well connected, managed well, so that they can have that freedom. So in fact, for us, Faber IoT ourselves also have developed solutions, which even before the COVID-19, we call it Discover. So in fact, we would like to actually complement what Shama have this on the Gen Z application.
Yeah.
Now we have a group, but when the group comes together, they need to find a way of finding their whereabouts. So location is always tracked 24/7. Of course, within that private group, they have the ability to make sure that they can have some form of privacy, for example. So in cases where they don't want to be tracked, to be located where they are, they can disable their location. But during the journey, it's very important for them to always understand where they are, whether they have already checked into the hotel, checked into the places that they wish to be, and to ensure that if there is any cases of emergency, they are well connected. They know where they are. They can find where their friends that need help. So that will ease their peace of mind while traveling. That's the one that we love to suggest that users to use Discover. For tour operators, for example, I'm sure when traveling with tour operators, the head of the tour guide have difficulty even to manage the group in the bus. Whenever they go down, when they reach to a particular place, they have difficulty to manage to find them back. So once you let them go, you're not sure where they are. And the travelers who just go out, the tourists, they want to find their buses to go back. So the only way for them to understand this is through a location-based kind of services. Use an app that can help them to track the bus, the tour operator, or the travelers themselves.
Yeah, that's really a great tip, I would say. Using an app to locate travelers nowadays, it's a must. Do you think that group traveling is a trend that is going to happen in the next years as well? because because of social distancing, we're thinking, oh, maybe I don't want to get into the crowd and get so many people around me. So what are your thoughts about this?
Yeah, that's one thing. I think the new norm of traveling most likely will not be in a group. So that's what the trends that we are seeing now. I think people want to travel within their own comfort. I mean, with their family, with which they trust, or the friends which they have already trust. So either they go alone, travel alone, or with few members. So that's the trend that you're going to see. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And what advice, for example, do you give to travel companies to help build trust for travelers to travel again?
Okay, if you take a look at one of the things which I think, as I mentioned earlier just now, there are three things that we need to look at. The safety, the healthcare, and also the cleanliness of the places. Because if you look at the traveling, it's not only when you travel, it's before you travel. The moment that you touch down from the airport, the moment that you travel with the normal transportation, you are taking the booking services, the moment you reach to the hotels, and the moment you go to the other places. So if you look at all this, there's a lot of things which the travelers are looking for. They are looking at the weather, the booking services, the applications for social distancing, for example. I see some of these applications which the to build the trust, and before we start again this traveling pattern, the traveling time, the traveling period, we want to ensure that our customers don't lose that curiosity or the desire to travel anymore, because after a long staying at home, people lost that touch. So they must use some form of technology that can virtual tours, for example, right? So you use the virtual reality to ensure that you can still have that feeling of where you want to travel. The webcams, the live streams that people are now showing, and this so they must always to stay connected with their customers to ensure that they are in fact are being going to be well taken care of with these new norms that we are saying, so to ensure that they will be more enjoyable in their next trip.
Yeah, definitely. I perfectly agree with you, because that's what we need. We need to make sure that, at least from the travel perspective, that all the conditions are gathered so that people can travel again, and this will really, really bring us some kind of comfort. And because we are going through a pandemic, and many companies, mostly in the travel industry, they are struggling a lot. We're all looking for ways to save and to be more efficient. And my next point is actually go and ask to Effendi about the cryptocurrencies, because
nice.
nowadays blockchain has been is like a trend that is being used by many companies. And Effendi, you try to bring awareness with universities about this trend. How is it being used today as a use case in tourism, hospitality, and travel?
Okay, it's a very good question. It's a very good issues to talk about blockchain. Basically, blockchain is not a new tech actually. It started because of the cryptographic technology, and people always have a misunderstanding when it comes to cryptocurrencies and other things. Actually, blockchain have two parts: on the cryptocurrency part and also on the cryptographic part. You must differentiate between cryptographic tech and cryptocurrencies. Of course, cryptocurrencies involve cryptographic technology, but not all cryptographic solution will involve cryptocurrencies. Okay, and blockchain is about technology, and people always misunderstanding when it comes to blockchain is about Bitcoin cryptocurrencies. But of course, the movement, the expansions of cryptocurrencies become larger, become large every year because of the usage is everywhere, especially the Bitcoin after the white paper by Satoshi Nakamoto. Is a very mystery guy, raised a white paper on 2009, and people use the Bitcoins everywhere. In fact, some places like airport in Brisbane, they are very proud to announce they are blockchain airport or crypto airport, and certain area in Switzerland, in Zug, Switzerland. I've been there talking about blockchain. They also have they claim the mayor is a crypto mayor because the whole district use blockchain for the the cryptocurrencies for the exchange. When talk about the awareness, please let me give a little bit information about what is blockchain technology. Is it? So basically, blockchain technology is involve a public or private distributed ledger. It's something like the accounting part, the ledger for debit or for debit and credit, or in or out of the data. And this transaction will involve powerful, transparent, and this ledger is controlled by a network of computers that we call as a blockchain technology. And part of the tech is cryptocurrencies, especially the Bitcoin, and also including the involvement of the online businesses and services. When you talk about, I would like to talk more about security. So what can we use blockchain and how blockchain tech can help to spur or to help industry blockchain to be more what you call more value, and we can share a little bit on the unique features of blockchain. It's about transparency and stability. It's about decentralized business model. It's about data integrity. Shama talking about the data, of course. And we also want to eliminate the third party or middleman, especially when it comes to, if you're aware, I'm from Malaysia. When I want to go to Japan, for example, right, I need to change my money to USD first, because when I go to Japan, they do not accept ringgit Malaysia, our currencies directly. I need to change first to USD, then from USD I will change to yen. So it means that when we cut my value, right, at least 10%. If I want to change, so something on the middleman. So by having because in Japan they legalize the Bitcoin, so the value of Bitcoin can be straightway used there. So any countries, the value is same. I don't need the middleman, especially the remittance. So this is something on that matter. And certain countries like Japan, they are very advanced. A lot of merchants can accept Bitcoin for the payment. So there's one thing on the cryptocurrencies. And of course, the users of 100 million of users of this kind of Bitcoin cryptocurrencies is another opportunities for the travel industries to get more customers, especially to get more income and sell more business. Because of that, certain countries in Europe, in Japan, they accept directly the Bitcoin. In fact, some of the banks also accept the cryptocurrencies. So this is something that maybe the operator of business in travel, maybe the hotels can figure this kind of opportunities. But please bear in mind, a lot of scammers outside by using the name of Bitcoin, so must be careful on it, right? Okay. Second thing, I would like to share about more on potential uses of a blockchain in the travel and tourism industry. For example, it's about the data tracking. We can use blockchain for the tracking baggage, because why? Blockchain tech can be extremely valuable for tracking the movement of baggage, especially when dealing with abroad travel. Because Abdul, in many cases, the customer's baggage changes hands several times over the course of their journey, right? So I think by using decentralized database, so it can be a very good sharing tracing data between companies, and this can be a part of security. Because why? A lot of issues of lost their bag, lost their baggage, right? And second thing is about the identification services. By using blockchain also, it's very good to reduce the issues of check-in and check-out times. Because why? I also helping my government in immigration, putting some solution on the blockchain. It's not cryptocurrency, it's about blockchain, how we can do some tracing for the identification. Because now a lot of a fake ID, fake passport, right? Because having a blockchain as a decentralized, we can use like private blockchain. By that, the government, the airport, the agencies, in fact, also the business people can have some sort of a tracing to counter on the fake issues of the passport. And the third things I think is good on the secure and traceable payments, because I just mentioned just now, the application can have a serving as a public ledger, so it can make sure that bank payments can have a more simple and secure. Because why? Sometimes in Malaysia, for example, right, after 12 midnight, we cannot use anymore our credit card or our debit card or our ATM, the money machines, right, after 12 o'clock. So it's a very problem for us who has a traveler, traveler, we travel, I mean, the time is we don't have a specific time, right? Sometimes as a backpacker, for example, we walk, maybe we use bus night time. When you want to pay for credit card, we cannot use in Malaysia, for example. I don't know about other countries, but in Malaysia, that kind of a regulation. So by having the blockchain, by using the so-called cryptocurrency that was endorsed or recognized by the banks, so it's a very good for the travelers, and a very good also for the business to accept this payment. And last but not least, I think it's about something on the customer loyalty program. Sometimes, Abdul, the problem in the customers, for the client or the travelers, we got a lot of fake reviews. For example, because this hotel is a very big hotel or very big business, so they can pay people to give a fake reviews. When we go to the hotel, we get a lot of not the real things that they advertise in the advertisement. By having blockchain, we can eliminate this kind of fake news. Because why? The data must be verified or validated by decentralized of the solution. Because of that, I'm promoting this kind of a solution. Not so much on the crypto, because crypto sometimes is quite gray area. So I'm focusing more on the blockchain for the tech, for the security, data tracking, data tracing, identification, and I think a lot of things we can develop. Because of that, Alhamdulillah, we have a lot of solutions now we're doing for certain agencies, business travels, to put some blockchain back end in their solution. So again,
okay, that's really cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Do you have?
Yeah.
I'm eager to ask more questions because it's such an interesting topic. Can you give us some examples of airports using that check-in process or the luggage tracking process?
Okay, for example, in
using blockchain,
one company, they have a Veridog. Veridog is something like they're putting some their identification in the blockchain. So Veridog is VERIDOC. So they use a lot of this kind of blockchains for the ID and passport validation. And I'm also doing a solution. The name is a NITCert. NITCert is a Malaysian-based company, but we are the guy who doing something back end for them, because my business work focus much on the B2B, not to B2C. So basically, people don't know us, but business know us. So clients at the end users don't know us. So for example, NITCert doing something, putting something on certificate in the blockchain. So for example, for the halal, right? For the halal business, for example, they can put a fake halal certification for their food, right? But when putting the blockchain, they cannot, because for example, Jakim is very famous. Islamic Affairs in Malaysia, they are very famous on their what you call the logo of the halal. Because the halal logo is very famous. Because why? In our countries, Islamic Affairs is under minister, is under government. So they don't charge money. They are really work under government. Means that they are very strict. Sometimes it's very difficult to get their logo right. Having the logo of Jakim or Islamic Affairs in Malaysia is like something like marketing tools for another business. But the problems are about the fake and certificate. So I think that's thing that we can explore, not just for the food, because travel operator, they need to have this kind of verification, certification on the food, right? We have a client and we want to bring our clients to the halal food restaurant. But at the end, the halal food restaurant is not real halal, right? For example, mostly in Europe, they have halal food, but at the same they also sell beer, for example, right? So something that I think by putting the blockchain, we can do some very fast verification. So some
and also it's one of the characteristics as well is that it's immutable data, right? It cannot really change. It's very difficult. So that gives some kind of security for any consumer I would say, either in travel or in a restaurant. So that's a really, really great thing, I suppose, for consumers,
because
right?
why immutable? Because why? For example, one data, for example, I want to put my certificate. The data of certificate must be checked, must be verified by 4 of us, for example, right? If I want to change the data, I need to get Shama permission. I need to get from Abdul's permission. I get it from Mazlan. Ready for the centralized data, right? I can change easily. But having this kind of millions, not just it's just millions of data that you need to verify. I mean, to put in the immutable ledger, so it's very safe actually. But don't see the perspective of cryptocurrencies, right? Because cryptocurrencies, there are thousands of cryptocurrencies, right? Sometimes will be a lot of speculation on that. But focusing on the data tracking, immutable data, the certification is very good now because of that. The blue chip banks like Barclays, Paribas, what you call it? What is it in Spain? The one of bank, BNP Paribas. BNP Paribas is very famous
BNP
bank, right?
Paribas, yeah.
They also use blockchain as back end. Our bank in like our CIMB is one of the largest bank, also use blockchain as a back end for the data transition. Same goes to IBM. They have a blockchain also. Oracle now. So this is a very huge potential. And how we can use on the tourism is about, I just mentioned just now, on the loyalty, the reviews, the certification, this kind of transaction. We want to eliminate the middleman. So it's very good solution. Sorry, too much on the blockchain.
No. I think it's interesting for our audiences as well. Maybe you can share some light as well of advice of people that really want to go into this distributed ledger technology. For the first time, what advice would you give it to them?
First, they must understand about the data. What is the importance of the data analytics?
Definitely.
Of course, I'm started with a big data analytics before I go to the blockchain part. And second things, they need to understand about because I think we can for the who want to start can learn from World Economic Forum. They have one initiative they call as a PACI, Partnership Against Corruption Initiative. So they put a lot of a blockchain solution under the solution as a tech for integrity. So the tech for integrity is under World Economic Forum based in Geneva. So a lot of companies that who want to comply, who want to apply blockchain, they put in one platform under tech for integrity with 3 pillars on the blockchain, blockchain tech, e-governance, and open data. So who want to start, please understand first about the data transaction, data analytics like Shama just now mentioned, Dr. Mas, because blockchain is a multiple discipline knowledge. You need to understand many discipline of knowledge. For example, big data, you need to understand legal, you need to understand economy, finance. It's quite challenging to understand, but it's worth to know because blockchain is still not maturizing, but not matured. Whoever want to start need to learn a lot, read, but start with the data analytics first. Info.
Yeah, that's really great advice. It has been really good to have everyone's insights, but guys, time is against us. So last words, if you want to give some words of advice, and because we also are in collaboration with the World Halal Tourism Exchange, and there are many travel players listening to these talks, do you want to give some words of advice to the travel industry? Some words, maybe some case studies, lessons learned. Shama, please.
So in terms of what I would say is, looking at the COVID-19 pandemic, if people want to really keep themselves in the game and make sure that they don't lose the travelers, as we discussed earlier, a lot of people are concerned about cleanliness and, people are not taking that much air travel. They're focusing more on road travel. What we see especially from the millennials and Gen Z audience is that they value experiences much more than goods, and also they very much focus on authenticity. So as much as people can make sure that their brand has that authentic touch, there's some, they're focused on the environment, they're focused on giving back to the community. this audience really focuses on that, and especially if they can promote that, the safety and cleanliness of their experiences, then they may be able to attract the tourists even in this pandemic.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Dr. Maslan?
Okay. Sometimes we need to look at pandemic like this also can be a blessing in disguise for tourism industry too. What I say is that is because there are cases where cities before this are overcrowded, over tourism, you would say, right? And they don't have plans to manage the number of tourists. So when this happens, suddenly there is no tourists, and they have more time to rethink and maybe to plan any mitigation issues. They can do the normal renovation. Sometimes when I went to like Istanbul, for example, places which is for tourists, but also places that are still under renovation. So you can see everything. So now they have more time to do renovation very fast. So without tourists interrupting them. So, but also there's a lot of things which not only the tourists, like travel operators have this impact, but also the startups, which trying to offer services to the travel industry are also being affected. People like us also being affected because we build applications meant for tourism. But yet, when this happens, we have to pivot. So a lot of companies of startups that offer tourist application solutions are now pivoting their solutions. So some of them doing a lot more process automation, helping the back-end system, rather to help rebooking, refund process faster. Then we see AI chatbot helping people to answer in different languages, helping them about giving advice on symptoms, treatment, or preventive measures. We see applications where you use facial recognition for thermal temperature scanning, computer vision, so it's much more safer. So we see companies have changed into giving advice, pre-trip advice, for example. And now we are seeing a lot of these applications where for COVID tracing, contact tracing, if there is cases happen, there is cases where we can trace it back. In fact, in some countries, I see that if you use two phones and these two phones are connected with Bluetooth, when you're quite near with each other, the proximity, it will give you a beep. You are too near, so you have to distance yourself. so these are some of the things which people pivot because of COVID-19 issues of the normal, the new norm. They have to do something different. So that's why a lot of startups are now pivoting themselves. Otherwise, they can close down, unfortunately.
Yeah, for
Perfect.
me,
Thank you. Effendi, please.
Can I continue? For me, 40 years back, before I was born, I'm now 38 years old. Maybe 40 years old back, 40 years ago, travelers, international or travel, we can say that luxury travel, right? But nowadays, I think traveling should be comfortable, cost effective, and importantly, enjoyable. But at the same time, fees, booking irregularities, bad reviews, and long lines may be a symptomatic of the current travel situation. So I think blockchain have the kind of solution because why? Millionaires now are fast becoming man spenders. So we need to create more choices, loyalty solution, and also increase leisure travelers, business plus leisure, and the industry needs to reach more new channels and distributions and increase business. The data on the informed decision and increases businesses, and of course the digital presence by using the blockchain. The future of blockchain in the travel and tourism industry will remove many miscalculations that result in trillions of dollars lost to companies, including airlines and hotels. So I think blockchain can offer peaceful experience to travelers in the coming years and avoid losses that companies have to bear every day and the future. That things I think because of issues, because of the solution that blockchain have on the transparency, eliminate the middleman, immutable data, and of course the most important thing is about how we can increase the integrity, the transparency, at the same time reduce costs and get more what you call benefits in terms of profit to the industries. And of course, win-win situation, not just industries, also the client, the customers, and the users for the services from the industries. That's all from me.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you very much. Thank
Yeah.
you. It has been really, really interesting, really good. And now, the most important question for each one of you: what is your favorite holiday destination? Shama, please.
Well, that's very tough. There's so many. For me, my best trips, I would say, it was Argentina. Uh,
Oh, cool.
yeah, it was because I went to the glaciers, I went to the lakes, but also I spent time in the city. But also Greece is another one which I love. I try to go there every year. So I would say those two, Argentina and Greece.
Cool, nice. I've been to Greece. I have to go to Argentina. Maybe we'll talk a little bit later. Dr. Maslan, please.
Okay, I have these two countries. One is the very scenic view, nature and all that. It's New Zealand. So I've been to. I'm a fan of Lord of the Rings, so I love that particular place. But I love to go everywhere around New Zealand. But I don't have that chance. But
Cool.
next time I will going to the North and South Islands. And secondly, I love the technology part. So I love to go to Japan again, hopefully.
Cool, nice.
Yeah. Wow. Like me,
Effendi, please.
I like to divide to region. Excluding my country, of course, I love my country most, Malaysia. Everything in Malaysia. Excluding my countries, for Europe, I love to go to Switzerland, because if I go to Switzerland, means that I can go. It's because Switzerland is a center. I mean the border with France, border with Germany and Italy. So Switzerland is the best for the very nice view. But Italy is the best for the food, because I love so much Italian food, like cappuccino, spaghetti, and pizza, right? And then I love the historical building. So for Europe, it's Italy and Switzerland. Of course, I think this is the best place I like to go. Yeah. And
Perfect.
for the Islamic tourism, of course, Mecca, Madinah.
Mecca.
Every year is the best for the. I think if for culture, for the religious, the best is Mecca and Madinah.
Perfect. I think the timer is on. Everyone's waiting for the visa is accessible to everyone. The borders will reopen. So we're all looking forward to it.
Yeah, I want to visit Shama.
Okay.
I want to visit Abdul.
Exactly. Okay, thank you very much, guys. It has been really interesting. I really enjoyed this session. Thank you very much for your presence here in this session. And I really hope that we can have another session as well. But yeah, thank you for your presence. Thank you very much for your insights.
Thank you for inviting us. Yeah.
Thank you. So yeah, thank you to everyone for attending this session. I'm confident that this will bring a refreshing strategy for many viewers, for many travel players, many travel companies. And yeah, to the audience, please continue to watch our eTourism Revolution Talks. And our next session will be about the hospitality and tech industry in the hotels. So yeah, that will be very interesting. Stay tuned. Thank you very much. And yeah, see you next time.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.